Sup, YouTube? Sup, chat? Unfortunately, not the greatest situation to be talking about, but I do think it's an important one, and for some reason keeps happening with these organizations. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, there was an RLCS team in South America that has been bamboozled. They have been screwed over again, and this is, to my knowledge, not the first time this organization has done it. Even with passing hands of CEO and people behind the scenes, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, LAWL Esports, notably probably like the second best team in South America, is no longer with them for some obvious reasons. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, we're going to go step by step. We're going to talk a little bit about the history, how it came to be, the process of step by step of like, yo, this person put out this tweet. All of a sudden, they're going ghost. CEO puts out message, which just makes things worse. Team now being criticized. There's a lot of stuff happening. So there's going to be some pretty craziness to this. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, though, sit back and relax, get some popcorn. Here we go. For those that don't know this situation, on February 7th, God, what is his official title? He's like the partnerships manager for LAWL, put out this. It basically says farewell and is getting and removing himself from LAWL Esports. He's basically saying, hey, along the lines, appreciate the people that I've worked with. These people are awesome. These people are amazing. One of the major members who is being actually criticized for this situation, Phoenix or Corey, is not the problem. And that is something that is misconstrued. While he may be the public-facing figure for the company, it is actually not him. And you even see that from Dan Disbog, who is their partnerships manager, saying, hey, you took a gamble on me. I love you to death. Appreciate the love, all this kind of stuff. Thank you for sticking your neck out for me. The person who is to blame here is their CEO, Kyle McDougal, who says, thank you for being the reason why anyone on LAWL would leave. With all respect, you were warned, advised, and simply were uncomfortable to work with. I would never wish to anger you or say something untruthful, but as a professional in this industry, I must speak out. You constantly overstepped everyone's head, showed distrust, showed immaturity, and showed no care. You talked down to staff and players in an inappropriate manner, burnt many bridges. The people you decided to listen to weren't the ones you should have listened to. NFTs are a tricky thing. I honestly hate them, but when you invest millions into a project backed by the foundations and brand growth from LAWL, I would imagine a similar care to invest into the brand literally named after it. But you turn to those that aren't fit to guide you. You're a good guy, Kyle. I've spoken to you, got to meet you. We've shared stories, ideas, thoughts, but man, it's like you got into the wrong crowd in high school. What upsets me the most is how you parade around being the nobility man everyone sees you as. You have people who bought our merchandise, yet the designer who spent 2 months of their lives working on, unpaid. You have players, staff, and when we even achieved having T-Pain represent us in some of the most horrendously broadcasted nobility tournaments, unpaid as well. These are real people who played for, created for, streamed for, managed for, and represented for LAWL. Pay them back. So boy goes out and says, hey, you're our CEO and you have failed to pay all these people, including people like T-Pain. What the hell? What is going on? So after this comes out, it is just a S-storm. It is absolute and utter across the board. It is bad. So, like esports organizations do, they're just like, what if we just go away? What if we just disappear? Then we don't have to pay anybody. We're not held accountable. We can just disappear and nobody will know. Before they could do that, LAWL Esports, their Twitter says, hello, LAWL fans. This is the social media team. You know, the people that are in charge of putting out social media and interacting with fans and growing the brand and blah, blah, blah. Quote, we will not be working until we all receive the payment that was promised in our contracts. Stay unpaid. So they also are not being paid. And this keeps happening across the board. Pretty much all the people working for LAWL are like deuces. You know what? Dan opened the floodgates. We're all compiling with this as well. We're not getting paid. You're not getting paid. Nobody's getting paid. We're out. We're done. LAWL Twitter goes away. Account gets shut down. It does not exist anymore. They then come back with a statement from the owner, Kyle McDougal himself. I can't even explain reading this and being like, how does this exist? How does this happen? So we're going to read it. And I'm going to try to understand like how removed you have to be from how you run an organization. Like, by no means do I have a business degree. By no means do I know the exact things that go on. But I also know that you don't pay your players through PayPal. Like a professional esports team, not handing out W-9s or contract-based stuff. They're paying people through PayPal. Like, what? How? How? So, this is tough to write. I never thought in a million years we would get to this point. I took pride in turning this organization around from the bad stigma it once had and thought we did an amazing job of that. For those that don't remember, LAWL was also previously under some scrutiny due to not paying people. And Kyle came in and said, you know, we're going to fix this stigma. We're going to make it better. Turns out he received the keys and then threw away the keys and did the same thing, apparently. I owned LAWL for almost 2 years, and not once was a payment to a player or staff member ever missed to my knowledge. Well, I am hearing across the board that it's happening all the time. I was not in charge of making payments to staff/players, because everything was run through PayPal. So you admit to knowing everything is ran through PayPal. You're the CEO, and you're running your payments through PayPal. And you have one person apparently on the LAWL team assigned to that, but nobody ever came to me asking to be paid for a mispayment. So you claim ignorance. We'll see how this goes. In January, we noticed how much money was being wasted on PayPal fees. But you just said that no one has ever, like, I can't like try to articulate this intelligently because like I'm trying to combat dumb and it just doesn't, like, the logic doesn't add up. You're saying that you're not in charge of making payments towards staff and players and everything's run through PayPal and that's somebody else's thing. But in January, you also noticed that a bunch of money is being wasted on PayPal fees, which was tens of thousands of dollars worth over the course of the year. Because of this and the request of several team members, we switched everything over to our company bank account. So you are aware that fees are being spent through PayPal and that you're but God, I hate this. I hate this, dude. I hate this so much. Because of this and the request of several team members, we switched everything to our company bank account. The first time we attempted this, the account was locked and closed because we were also using the account for cryptocurrency, and the bank told us we weren't able to continue doing business with them. So, order of operations. Paying players and staff through PayPal. Tons of fees through PayPal. We switch over to bank. Bank is being also used for cryptocurrency. Bank says, well, no, do a real account. Don't do business with us. We moved over to a new account and the issues continue to arise. I don't know if it's because it was a brand new account and there were a lot of transactions and fairly large sum of money being sent to countries all over the world, but some staff and players were receiving their payments and others would not. And I quote in a couple paragraphs beforehand, not once was a payment to a player or staff member ever missed to my knowledge ever. We jump forward 2 paragraphs. Some staff players were receiving their payments and others were not. So are you aware of them or are you not? Which is it? I would send our Apex team payments all at the same time and only one player would get his while the other 2 payments would not go through. So again, this is you admitting to you being aware, or maybe this is information that was told to him, which is also then making him aware of the situation. I don't know. This caused delays and frustration, which I completely understand. I was transparent and vocal about the situation with our core team. Not once was a payment to a player or staff member ever missed to my knowledge ever. Nobody ever came to me asking to be paid for a missed payment. These are quotes. Anyway, the problems continued forcing me to deal directly with the bank offline so I could manually push payments through. Working off of several Excel worksheets, there were hire an accountant. Hire an accountant. Instead of spending more money on crypto stuff, hire an accountant. They will do this stuff for you. Because you're working on Excel worksheets, there were individuals who were lost in the process. That is not okay. You owe them money. There is no excuse. Compared to the total number of people on payroll, this was a small percent. So you are admitting that you still aren't paying people. A small percent is more than 0. Chat, in the real world, when you do work and are hired to do work, you then get paid for said work. Exchange of goods, one might say. And if there is a small percentage that is not being paid, that is still more than 0. That is not okay. No, that makes sense. But imagine you going to work your 9 to 5, get done with 9 to 5, and then you don't get paid. It's only a small percent. Not a big deal. Again, the damage has been done. I have so many emotions running through me right now. I'm sure the people who are not being paid also have emotions. I want to apologize to the individuals who are either delayed payment or not been paid yet, but you will be paid for your work. I don't have a single negative thing to say about any staff member or player that has ever been part of this organization during my time here. I grew close enough to a handful of them to consider them great friends and even family. It was not on my mind to mess around with anybody's hard-earned paycheck at all, and I hope everyone involved can believe me on that. For those of you that felt harmed, I sincerely apologize, but that was not my intention in the slightest. Fair. I mean, I don't think anybody intends actively to, you know, make people feel harmed or anything. But based upon what Dan's saying, like, this is something that has been like something he's been sitting on for a while. Obviously, this comes out and there is quite a few quote tweets about the situation. When you have as many, like half as many quote tweets as you do likes, that's not good. That's usually not good. Also because nobody's allowed to reply to it. One person in particular, Average Jonas. I'm sorry, what am I reading? What kind of professional org runs through all payments through PayPal? Isn't this extremely shady? Red flags. Also, why don't you check if your bank is okay with it before investing in crypto? These are all competent things to think about. Another person, Arietta, who is an accountant by day and also does Overwatch coaching for a team. Professional accountant here. Assuming all of these ridiculous excuses are true, you didn't have controls in place for this payment process? This is awesome. I talk about having an accountant. This is why you have an accountant. One who is hired to do it. There is things in place to make sure this stuff doesn't happen. Here are examples. Thanks for providing insight, Arietta. You had one employee process payments with no oversight, no segregation of duties for posting and processing payments. You didn't have a bank recon process in place to verify that the transactions processed in your bank accounts align with the accounting transactions on your books. You use the same bank for cryptocurrency and payroll transactions. You didn't hire an accountant to untangle this mess instead of letting individuals get lost in the process through worksheet express Excel documents. Again, Arietta, I can feel the like amount of like brain hurt that is happening. By the way, I've experienced processing employee vendor transactions at a Fortune 500 company with over 30,000 employees. Every time our employee vendor accountants team discovered that our company owed an employee a payment, it was always handled as high priority and processed immediately. The number of people who went unpaid being a small percentage of the number of total employees on payroll is completely irrelevant. Like I said, you can't just not pay people, and this attitude is unacceptable. Ultimately, it is your responsibility as the owner of the business to ensure proper process and controls are in place to protect your assets and fulfill your liabilities. That is why you are the CEO. It is your job to take care of this stuff. If something is not going well, your job as the CEO is to say, hey, I'm the CEO. This is what we're going to do to fix it. If we're having issues with financial stuff, hire an accountant to take care of it. The fact that it starts, though, with using PayPal blows my mind. So this is the explosion of Noble. Again, this is not the first time, to my knowledge, that this has happened. I do not expect things to continue moving forward or anybody to trust the name of Noble. This is twice now, to my knowledge, minimum. I remember back in 2018, some people that were signed with Noble, their PUBG team and otherwise, and their content creators that also had this concern. And that was 4 years ago, technically 3.5. This is nothing new. Even with the trading of hands, things have not gotten better. It is likely to assume that Noble is done. Maybe they try to start a new business over a different name, but that's where we're at. The concerns I have is obviously for the people that are either A, employed by Noble. They all now have to go and find new jobs. The team. Why this is relevant to Rocket League. You have two messages. Number one comes from obviously Knight, one of the players. It says, we are officially looking for an organization. And rightfully so. Your contract doesn't matter anymore if you're not getting paid. Straight up. If the people paying you are no longer fulfilling their end of the bargain, hey, these are the contract rules. We want you to follow these guidelines. We will pay you for doing those things. If they no longer pay you and it's been past 30 days, I'm out. Peace. Deuces. You have null and void this contract. Hopefully there's active conversation in the middle of it and there's like this ability to be like, hey man, we haven't been paid. Like we need this stuff to happen. Can the players sue? Yes, technically. But I don't know like how much, if it's worth hiring a lawyer and taking it to court and all that other kind of stuff, if it's going to be worth it for like small claims court. I just don't know what salaries are and stuff to justify it, which sucks. The players just kind of get screwed over. It really sucks. Hopefully with all that crypto investment, they have the ability to pay some people out. But I'm sure it's going to take a lot to figure and get this all in line. I'm sure. And then the big one, their coach Bruno. Small summary of what happened to us at the time we were Noble. Last year when the team was formed, Knight, Sadness, and Jafino, everything at Noble worked perfectly. However, with the turn of the year, the person in charge of payments changed, and it was from there that things started to go wrong. We had a lot of boot camps canceled. We had a lot of payments delayed and a lot of other promises that weren't kept. We didn't know what was going on. The moment my team found themselves disappointed with all of the problems that the organization presented with us, I wanted to know why this was happening. All answers came by talking to CEO Noble, Phoenix. Phoenix is not the one that is under, and this is what I was talking about at the very beginning. Corey is his name. has been fantastic, to my knowledge. He's always been very informative. He's always done a really good job as their like front-facing person. Their CEO, to my knowledge, is this Kyle McDougal guy. McDougal. We're going with Dougal. As you see here, Corey is one that stuck his neck out for people, and I have a lot of trust in Dan. Dan with doing their partnerships management stuff is great. So Kyle's the one on blast. Corey Phoenix is the one that is talked about that gave them information about why things were happening. Obviously, they're not making that public. In a nutshell, the entire staff at Noble is amazing. They always try to do everything for us. The only problem was that the person holding all of Noble's capital was not willing to cooperate with their own team. Sounds like this Kyle character, based upon the transition of funds going into a bank that's using crypto and everything else. After conversation with Phoenix this morning, we are officially looking for new opportunities in other organizations. Despite all this, the desire to win is not diminished. We want to be the best, and we will give everything to have until the end. Now, some things about this to bring up. Number one, Noble is no longer Noble. They're going back to their old team name, which was Erased. If you guys don't remember Erased, this is back when they had PJ back in 2021, but now it has Knight instead. Sadness, Knight, Math, and Bruno, their coach, are under Erased again. That is official as of February 8th, so yesterday. Official as of yesterday, they are no longer under the Noble name, and rightfully so. They should not be representing an organization that has failure to pay them on time, let alone at all. The other side of things, this is a pretty big opportunity. Similar to the True Neutral situation, you are finding a team that right now in the standings is what? Number 2? So if you're an organization and you're trying to basically find a way to get your name out there, whether you are a large South American team organization, a lot of people have been talking about the organization MIBR, but if you're a big name and you're trying to find a team that has a serious chance on not only going to the Winter Major, but also the World Championships as representation for South America, no buyout, time to pick up a team, and a damn good one at that. Like, super consistent. Second place, tied for 3-4, tied for 3-4. First place, second place. Those are their results. One of the most consistent teams in the region, and like super likely to make it. The only reason why they're not already a shoo-in, despite taking first and second, the reason why they're not a shoo-in is because, I mean, you only get 2 spots in South America. Like, if you look at the winter rankings, on top, baby. Number 1. Woo! They're very likely going to the major. Jokes aside, chat, like, let's crowdfund Lawler Esports. Snack Pack Esports. Let's do it. It's happening. Let's buy up a race for 1 month. We'll pay them on time, and then we'll hopefully use it to position a buyout. You know, together, team, we can do it. Jokes aside, I hope Erased gets picked up. They're a very good team. And yeah, dude, we can infinitely pay more than Noble, right? Because we'll pay more than nothing. And on time. I will say we're going to have to find a way to raise the funds that aren't through PayPal. So maybe not. Jokes aside, chat. I really hope this stuff stops happening. I've talked numerous times about like franchise leagues and Rocket League and some of the excitement that can come from it. And this is the kind of stuff that I'm concerned of. Unless you find people that are like really, really invested in the process of it, of like, I love esports, therefore I'm going to go and bend over backwards to make sure that this stuff happens. There are some people that see it as like a profit and as a way to make money as a business. And that's it. They don't take the actual investment that it goes into the passion of running an esport. And as esports grows and grows and grows, you're going to see more people like this. So yeah, I'm a little concerned that this stuff is going to keep happening. And I do hope that in the end, Erased does find a new team, a new home. And although Noble foundation-wise was really, really good, it sucks that all it takes is one person at the top to mess things up. So really unfortunate for Erased. I do hope that things get better and they get picked up soon. So with that said, that's what's been going on with Noble lately. It's unfortunate, and I hope it stops happening. I really do, but with how good of a team they are, I expect them to get picked up in no time. So with that said, chat, hopefully you guys enjoyed the little rant and the little insight of the story of what's going on with Noble Esports, or some other crazy name that we'll think of. Maybe like clickbait. RLCS players left without an org after partnerships manager leaves. I don't know. We'll think of something. Let me know what you guys have for better clickbait titles. Either way, YouTube frogs, if you guys enjoy the content, thumbs up, subscribe, notifications. As always, greatly appreciate it. This wasn't very noble of them, ... And then that's the title. Oh, God. Noble Esports isn't as noble as their name states. You know, something cringy like that. But either way, appreciate you guys watching the video. We're out of here. Hopefully we see you guys in the next video. Peace.